The days are longer, the calendar is filling up, and I want to feel as good as this beautiful summer weather. That's why I've been loving Groons. It's one daily pack of gummies that covers my greens, vitamins, and minerals, and even has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber. So I don't need to juggle a complicated wellness routine on top of everything else. They taste amazing. They're easy to toss in my bag on the go. Plus, they're vegan, gluten-free, and HSA, FSA eligible for reimbursement. Save up to 52% off with promo code podcast at gruns.co. That's code podcast at gruns.co.
It's your last chance to get gifts before the holiday, and right now at Old Navy, everything's up to 75% off with gifts from just $1, $2, $3, and $4. Buy online, pick up in store for free in 2 hours with extended store hours too. Get up to 75% off everything at Old Navy and OldNavy.com now. Valid 12/18 to 12/24, excludes gift cards, today only, 2-day only deals, register lane items, jewelry, and Zip Zap stuff gifting bins. Orders must be placed before 4 p.m. for same-day pickup, subject to availability and delays. Additional terms apply.
Welcome to Hell's Kitchen. This is the Russo-Souhan Show, part of the Minnesota Sports Podcast Network. He's Michael Russo. I'm Jim Souhan. Thanks, as always, to Hell's Kitchen for hosting and sponsoring these shows. The Facebook Live version of the show is sponsored by Surly Brewing, Jack Daniels, and Finlandia Vodka. The podcast version, which you can always hear at mnspn.com, sponsored by Crown Bank, Twill in the Edina Galleria, and Fixology Repair, third floor of the Mall of America. As always, thank you, Mr. Hedges, who's actually here tonight.
Hey.
So I know we're going to talk a lot about Scotland and Ireland because Michael just got back, and I can't think of a better comedy series than setting you loose in Scotland and Ireland with a bunch of whiskey and a bunch of hockey fans. But first of all, tell me about your latest grievous injury.
Oh, yeah, I had a pinky surgery yesterday. So I can't grip.
I thought you were joking when you said you had pinky surgery. You actually had pinky surgery.
No, I did. Actually, it was more like I went to get it looked at, and then the dermatologist was like, "Here are your options." I'm like, "Why don't we just chop it off?" So basically, I had a little. Remember in April I told you that I got this pop socket because I got a callus.
Yes, I remember.
And so that callus never went away, and it got infected, and finally I'm just like, I gotta go get it removed. So that's what happened. And then I went to work
today. Did the pop socket infect your finger or just not work well enough?
The pop socket just it keeps me from rubbing on the bottom of this.
So, but it obviously didn't work.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, no, it just the original injury never went away. So then I went to work today, and I went onto Glenn's office, and I said, "How do you file for workman's comp?" Just out of curiosity. So then I told him that I got a tweeting injury, and he said that I was not eligible. So
I'm shocked you're not blaming this on some poor guy who works at the Flamingo, like everything else in your life.
That guy at the Flamingo it was the stress that created this little thing on my finger. So
once again,
you should have seen the funniest thing about the dermatologist is like, I think everybody goes there and they're like, yeah, just give me some medication. And I was like, why don't you just chop it off? And she was like, so excited. Like, I mean, she honestly was, she's like you could tell that she might have like a boring day every single day. And she was just honestly like so excited that she got to do something where she took out, I mean, I'm like, honestly, chop it off. She pulled out within a second a syringe to give me some numbing agent in the finger. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And then next thing I know, she's like pulls out these scalpels and even the assistant was like, I've never seen her so excited. So she was just like, I made her day.
Michael, there are a lot of people, including people in the Wild organization, who would love to take a knife to you.
No, I know that. So that was my day yesterday. So it was fun.
So is this going to be the kind of story that you can tell hockey players because you were tough about it? Or
I took a picture of the bandage here, and I'm going to tweet out the fact that I'm a little worried that I'm not going to be able to hold a bat in Wiffle Wars. So that'll be my excuse when I strike out. So I already know that I'm going to wake up that day with a hamstring pull. A lot of different excuses going through my
Michael,
head.
you're
talking about somebody that's proud of the fact that I faked a injury playing high school football once to get out of a game because a guy was like growling at me across the line.
You've told that story.
Yeah, I know. I was. Yeah. Not only did I fake the injury, but I was offsides doing it. Like I got a flag, and then I limped off and never played another down of high school football. But it set off a great sports writing career. So,
congratulations on that.
Yeah,
by the way.
Thanks.
Thanks again to Hell's Kitchen, 9th and Nicollet, downtown Minneapolis. They're doing power salads for lunch, brunches. They have the Mimosa and Bloody Mary bar, breakfast all day. I love the huevos rancheros, great burgers, and I think alcohol all day too. So please come by and check out Hell's Kitchen. We've sent a lot of people here, and they always come back satisfied. All right, tell me about the trip.
Well, the trip was awesome. Great people. A little bit of a reunion here. Actually, this just reminded me of fact of my fun. The one of the funnier things that happened. So we had this guide named Richard in Scotland, and Richard was this wonderful Scottish guy. Everything was huge history here and amazing and everything. He was so proud of his country. It was awesome. So we're taking a bus to the Highlands, and the whole way to the Highlands on our way to Glasgow, he's telling us about how we have to, at the hotel we're staying at, you got to get the coffee there. I mean, he's telling us about this for like 3-4 days. You got to get the coffee there. They got a pint of coffee. He's never seen coffee this big. They're going to give you a pint and blah, blah, blah. So the whole trip, everybody is even like kind of ribbing me that, well, you've got to get the coffee. And it was the only thing I was looking forward about, Glasgow. So at breakfast, the morning that we're actually leaving to go to Ireland, a couple of the people at breakfast like, did you go get your pint of coffee? And I'm like, oh, that's a great point. So I go to this bar to get the pint of the coffee, and I'm like, hey, I hear that you guys have this incredible pint of coffee. And the woman's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know. I've been told about this pint of coffee that you get. And then she grabs this cup. The guy was talking about a venti. I drink 4 of those, 5 of those a day, and this is what I was looking for. This is what he thought was so unique to Scotland, a venti. And so that bothered me the rest of the trip because I was so looking forward to this like special pint of coffee. And
so Scotland, Ireland, are they the kind of places where everything is mom and pop and old school, or are there Starbucks?
Well, it's definitely old. No, we've Americanized everything. I'm sure you can go to Kosovo right now and find a Starbucks. I mean, that's the thing. So there's Starbucks, there's KFCs, there's McDonald's, there's Burger King. But the unique part, I mean, there is actually a funny story. We're in Ireland, and I'm talking about Starbucks because that's all I talk about on the bus. And the bus driver turns back to me and goes, "Spare me." He goes, "I'll find you a proper coffee." And I'm like, no, I really just want Starbucks. I'm doing it for the bonus points, not the taste. So that was actually funny. Like I almost created a wreck. This guy like almost pulled off the road because he couldn't believe that I was asking for Starbucks. But I mean, your
tombstone is going to be sponsored by Starbucks, and it's going to say got lots of points.
Yeah, well, no doubt. I'm very proud of that. I was telling everybody my favorite thing about Starbucks is when they send you an email to say job well done. And that is true. I got one today. And it makes me, and it gives me that extra confidence that I can continue throughout the day. That Starbucks.
That you can drink 8 more Starbucks and be a complete shill for an international.
Yeah, really, why is Starbucks not sponsoring the show, Jim? Get on the ball.
You're the one with all the bonus points. Why don't you turn in your bonus points for sponsorship?
We need to cut clips and just send it to them and say, here. Or send it to Caribou and say, we'll never talk about Starbucks again.
Now you're
So the one thing about Europe, I mean, when you go to all these places, you realize, I mean, how young our country is. I mean, you're walking into castles that were around 10,000 years ago. Mm-hmm. It really is an amazing thing. And same thing, we went pub hopping. Like I said, a lot of people are here. Andy and I over there closed down pretty much every bar in Scotland and Ireland every single day of the trip with John. One night.
How do you carry him, Mike? Do you carry him fireman's carry, or is it more like drag him by the neck?
So, but like one night, Andy and I made our hotel bar actually reopen the bar, which was kind of cool, and that was in Dublin. Dublin, this one hotel that we stayed at in Dublin, the bar closes, but the alcohol is 24 hours a day. So you could go to the front desk and say, like, I'd like a shot of Jameson, please. And they're like, all right. And then they open the bar. And that's essentially what he and I did. But it was good. I mean, there was a lot of, like, we went, as I said, going into the trip, we went to a lot of distilleries and breweries. Guinness, ran into a Wild fan there out of the blue from Stillwater with his wife. Went to Jameson, went to Bushmills. Clyde at one point forgot literally how to spell his wife's name. That was pretty funny. Like, what was that story again? Like,
I can tell by the look on Vicky's face that didn't bother her at all.
How long have you guys been married? 32 years, and Clyde on a piece of paper misspelled Vicky's name.
You know what he's really happy about? He's happy you just brought that up in this setting. Yeah.
But it was, you know how, like, I always say that the beauty of Clyde and Vicky is that Vicky just, Clyde's just dragged down here every week, doesn't really want to be here, blah, blah, blah. But then hanging around them, you start to get the way their relationship works. Like, we're in a store at St. Andrews buying.
Clyde's leaving.
Yeah, buying like clothes and stuff. And all of a sudden, Vicky just walks up to Clyde, throws about 4 things onto his arm and says, go buy this. I'm going to the bathroom. And I'm just like, all right. And
Michael, I hate to break this to you.
Yeah.
That's what every marriage is like.
Yeah. Well, Vicky did tell me that half of it's hers. So that, but it was a cool trip.
Let's take a quick break. If anybody has an embarrassing story about Michael or a hockey question, you can use the live mic at any time. Come up. Feel free to interrupt us. We're not talking about anything important here. Do want to thank Twill in the Edina Galleria, Scott Dayton's clothing store, men's clothing store, right down there on France. You know where it is, in the Edina Galleria. Please check it out or check out twillmn.com.
For most guys, shopping for clothes isn't their favorite thing to do. That's why Scott Dayton opened up Twill in the Galleria 12 years ago. He wanted to create a relaxed, one-stop shop experience for guys. Twill carries many of the best brands in clothing and is the only Peter Millar crown shop in the upper Midwest. Twill carries everything from suits and weekend clothes to shorts and t-shirts, or even a new outfit for the golf course. You can also put your company logo on just about anything there. When it comes to men's clothing, Scott Dayton and his staff have over 100 years of experience. Check out Twill in the Galleria in Edina or online at twillmn.com. And make sure to mention the podcast.
All right, do we have any good embarrassing stories about you?
No, I don't think so. Do you?
Clyde's...
Oh, yeah. So Andy, Claudine, and I were intent on Belfast to finding the oldest pub in Belfast. And we walk into, what was it called? Oliver St. John's? Oh, that was in Dublin? McHugh's. All right, so Oliver St. John's was a different bar in Dublin. We went to that oldest bar in Dublin, too, which was Brazenhead or something. Yeah. So, but there I learned my lesson. So we go to McHugh's, and the first thing I do is ask for a Macallan's, which is a scotch. Yes. We're in the oldest bar in Belfast, Northern Ireland, and I asked for a scotch, so the guy snaps at me. So the funniest thing is, Claudine went upstairs to kind of look around this awesome pub, and then comes down and orders a Coors Light. so these, Americans, we don't have a great reputation as it is, and we're in this bar for 5 minutes, and one of us orders a Coors Light, and the other orders a scotch. So that was pretty funny. Trying to think what else happened. We almost missed our flight going there and coming home.
Why?
Going there, we were like 3 hours late leaving Minnesota. My mother literally had to hold down the jetway and get them to hold the plane for us in Newark because she flew from Atlanta to Newark. Then coming back, we almost missed our connection Newark to Minnie. So what else happened? The first night, we went to some kind of weird Scotland show, and then everybody kind of went to sleep because we'd been up all day. And I decided, my friends Davina and the Vagabonds were in town, so I was going to try to get together with them. So I go to the hotel bar, and there Andy, Claudine, and their son Ryan's there. And all of a sudden I sit down, I look up, and John Anderson, the Wild assistant coach, is 2 seats over from me. So I'm like,
really?
Holy shit. And the funniest thing is that the last time I was in Edinburgh, I was in a Marriott concierge lounge, and this guy, Jimmy Clark, who was the assistant GM of the Columbus Blue Jackets at the time, now I think he's a scout with the Ottawa Senators, he's sitting there in Edinburgh, and here this time, I'm in Edinburgh the first night, and there is a Wild assistant coach. He was a little caught off guard, as was I.
I'm sure he was more disturbed than you were, though.
So, I'm trying to think what else. Really?
Well, while you think about it, let me give you the schedule coming up here. Friday at 5 o'clock, If you're here for a Twins game, or no, actually not Twins game, for the Billy Joel concert, come on over and check us out, 5 to 5:45. Michael Russo.
And then we can walk over to the concert after because we're both going.
Yes, Star Tribune. So Michael Russo, Star Tribune writer Chip Scoggins, who can talk a lot about the Gophers as well as the Vikings, Gopher basketball and Gopher football. He was at Big Ten Media Days this week, and myself will be here 5 to 5:45 on Friday. Please stop by for that. Then we're going on hiatus for a couple of weeks because of vacations and other scheduling conflicts. Back August 16th with Michael Russo here, 6 o'clock to 6:45 or so. So please come back and visit us then as well. Might as well thank Fixology Repair, John Hedges. Might as well. I should have put that a different way. Usually I only insult you when you're not here, but you're here, so I should be nice. Fixology Repair, 3rd floor of Mall of America, up by Nordstrom's. You've probably heard about it before. You've probably been by it. Apple products, watches. Michael has all 82 of his watches fixed at Fixology Repair.
The best part is that he was the Mr. Fix-It of the trip. Like, he sat down one night. We were in this small town in Ireland, and he sits down. I'm like, hey, look at my iPhone for a second. I'm
sure.
There was a lot of that going on.
Also, right after this show, Barb Abney's Music from Hell will be up on stage as soon as we clear off, around 6:45, 6:50, whatever it is. But here's more about Fixology Repair, fixologyrepair.com.
There are some things in life that you just can't live without. Now, whether it's a special piece of jewelry, a watch, or even your smartphone, you want it in working condition. At Fixology Repair, we are committed to restoring your pieces so that everything works or fits the way it ought to. Watch servicing, chain repair, and broken screen replacements are just a few of the services that we offer at our 2 locations, Mall of America and the Skyway in downtown Minneapolis. Please visit us at fixologyrepair.com or at fixologymn on Twitter to learn more. Mention this ad and get a 10% discount on our services.
All right, did you think of any more embarrassing stories?
Just a lot of Matt Cullen talk. Everybody was asking me about Matt Cullen. I kind of might have snapped at one point on somebody on the trip. Won't name names. Her name's Barbara.
How was your mother? How is your mother?
She's good. She got around great. She had a great time. One time, there was one moment where I did lose it a bit when she asked our guide,
and
Richard,
she's watching,
who was wearing a kilt. For the second time, she called it a skirt, and then says, "Didn't your mother ever tell you to cross your legs when you were wearing a skirt?" I might have snapped on there. She did say that. So, yeah, that was.
We love you, Barbara.
But yeah, no, it was fun. A lot of Matt Cullen talk.
All right, let's do some Facebook Live questions. Again, if somebody wants to ask a live question here at Hell's Kitchen, feel free to use the mic at any point. From Jay McGinnis, longtime listener, Michael Granlund or Nino Niederreiter, first for the Wild to sign?
That's a great question. After talking to the Wild today, it wouldn't shock me if it's Granny. I think Nino and them are on probably different universes right now in terms of ask and what they're going to get. So, I do think that Granlund's probably the one that gets done if they're going to, let's put it this way. If I had to choose one that goes to arbitration and one that gets done at the 11th hour, it wouldn't shock me if Nino's in arb and Granlund gets done. So we'll see.
All right. From Alec Fisher, another longtime listener, how would you rate the offseason for the Wild in general? Can you come to a conclusion at this point?
Somebody asked me that at a urinal today, and that was a lovely conversation, and my answer was underwhelming. So,
so you're going to stick with that?
Yeah. But look, they lost a lot of guys from last year's teams, but they're all replaceable players. I mean, the one that concerns you is Eric Holla. I still think that they got to replace him with a penalty killer and potentially a center. A lot of it, you lose Scandella. Olofsson and O'Reilly have to come and make this team and be good. And Olofsson's going to have to be somebody that's going to step in and be healthy and play well. That to me is the biggest thing. And then the question is Joel Eriksson Ek, is he somebody that's going to get a lot of ice time? A lot of the lines, I was talking to Boudreau about this the other day, will depend on whether Parise plays left wing or right wing, Niederreiter plays left wing or right wing, if the Wild sign a center. If the Wild don't sign a center, I think Boudreau is perfectly fine starting the season with Eriksson Ek as the fourth line center because you're going to give him penalty kill time and he'll get a decent amount of ice time. If you sign a center, Now, all of a sudden, I think that the Wild would feel, and Boudreaux would agree, that Eriksson Ek would have to play in the top 9 at wing to get significant amount ice time to not inhibit his development, to not put him in the minors. So the lines right now are kind of in flux, depending on whether or not Parise plays left or right. If he plays left wing, I could see him on a line with Charlie Coyle at center and Nino Niederreiter at right wing. If he plays right wing, I could see him with Stahl and maybe Foligno at left wing. I could see a Stahl, Foligno, Ennis line if Parise, again, is in a position where he's going to play right wing on the Coyle line. So there's a lot of different things that I think Bruce is trying to decide right now, and every night he's kind of changing it when he thinks about this team in bed.
Random question. After your tour of all the distilleries, what's your favorite whiskey?
That's a great question. I would say Macallan. It's a Scotch. My brother, all he does is drink Macallan 12 and 18 and 21. He's a heavy hitter. Partner of his law firm. Some of us lowly sports writers can't afford the Macallan 21.
All right, so what's the best?
But Macallan's, I think, the one that both Andy and I could drink and drink.
Is there a cheaper version that like us
Macallan,
pedestrians can? 12
it was good.
8,
I like
or?
Jameson a lot. There was a cool thing where Andy and his family poured Jameson right out of the cask. It's called the barrel cask, and you pour it, and it's right out of the age 21 years. That or no less. So I got Dave Simonetta bottle, although hopefully he's not watching the podcast and doesn't know that. But I got and you get it personalized and everything like that.
Wow.
So that's pretty neat. I liked Bushmills. Bushmills was good. I thought Glen Kinchy was a little harsh, but it kind of again depends on what you're getting. I mean, to me, it's fascinating going to these distilleries and seeing that. I mean, just imagine whiskey. I said this about when Val Burry started his winery, and just imagine like you have this new product, and now you throw it into an oak cask, and it's just going to sit there for years before you can even bottle it. At least with wine, it's less time in that oak cask. But I mean, you've got whiskey that's sitting there in these cellars there for 15, 16, 17, 18 years before it's even to get bottled. And they call it the angel share. These casks are essentially padlocked by the tax man, as they call it, and then eventually, but you lose so much to evaporation that they don't tax it until eventually it's bottled, and that because you lose so much of it. I mean, you could lose more than 60% of your whiskey sitting in a cask over that 21-year period. So it's pretty neat. And next summer, we are doing Anthony LaPanta and I are going to do a Tuscany trip. We met with Michael Kenny from Defined Destinations. We met with him on Monday, and we're talking about a big Tuscany, Venice.
See, my wife heard about Tuscany, and she said if she doesn't get to go on that trip, you're a dead man. So I'm just going to leave you with that.
Yeah, well, you guys are welcome. That would be an amazing trip. I mean, I think it's going to be awesome. Like I said, the group that we had was awesome. It was really fun, great group. A bunch of cool people to hang out. I said to a couple of the girls that came on the trip, Allison and Sharon, like right at the beginning, like, sorry to disappoint you, I am who I am. Like, I am going to be somebody that at the dinner table has a cell phone on the table and is going to look at it every time. Like even once Allison said to me, she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. Yeah. Got to text, got to look. You never know. But it actually is cool when you're in Europe. Your first 6, 7, 8 hours of your day, it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. back here. So I could have my phone kind of on, airplane mode and not be stressed at all. But the second that it turned like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. back here, I was constantly, you're just paying attention. Even though technically I was off and I didn't bring my laptop, if wild news happens, I'm going to want to be the one that at least assists whoever's going to write it from back here. And probably do the reporting. Let's be honest,
you're going to write it yourself.
Yeah, and probably do the reporting. So luckily, I mean, these were the perfect dates to go. I mean, the league goes to sleep. So, frankly, we're going to, for the Tuscany trip.
And obviously, Chuck Fletcher's given up on improving the roster, so you were safe.
So, I mean, it's like next summer, I think we're going to choose the same dates. And I'm looking, it's going to be Venice and Florence and all the wineries and olive oil places in Tuscany. We're going to the Italian Riviera, Cinque Terre. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome.
Facebook Live question from Kyler Vasferet. Is that the right pronunciation? I know I've battled that. Kyle Vasferet or Vasferet?
I don't know.
I hope I get it right.
Vasferet?
Yeah, he's asking a very poignant caring question here. Do beat writers have an equivalent for the Purple Heart? Because you're obviously a hero.
I know. I really should be. I don't know.
Purple Pinky.
AP sports writer. What is that we get? What's the APSE?
APSE?
I've never won one of those, but of course I've never put in my own work. Like those APSC things, we always hear about all these people winning, and I'm like, how come I never won? And I'm like, well, you
got to enter to win.
Yeah.
I know, that's a problem.
So,
from Craig Bernier or Bernier, I'm not sure. Stafford, Cullen, or Fisher? Who's the most likely for the Wild to sign?
Fisher.
Also, who would be the best
I don't
fit?
understand. Somebody at the Twins game the other day is like, Mike Fisher? I'm like, what about him? Mike Fisher is not coming here, okay? Like, if he's going to play next year, he's going to play in Nashville, where his super gigantic Carrie Underwood mansion is. He's not coming here. I don't know who wrote that, but apparently somebody did that said the Wild should sign him. I don't know. Maybe he is going to sign here. That'd be awesome, and then I'm going to look like a fool.
I've done that.
Yeah. Cullen to me, because they need a center. I think Stafford would be a good signing. That's my personal opinion.
Stafford, is there a chance of that?
I mean, he's there. He'd probably pay here for nothing now, so I think it would be a good signing.
From Barb Rule, frequent watcher. She's watching from the Black Hills. She visited Devil's Tower in Wyoming today. Definitely worth seeing up close. Thanks for checking in. John Williams said, great sports writing career. Whose opinion is that? Quoting you. Heather Rule's watching. Barbara Simon Tabin is joining.
Longevity. I wouldn't say great. Long.
You've done very well
I've
for yourself.
somehow managed not to get laid off.
Your mom's watching right now, and you've done fine. Tyler Gregory, what team could you see wanting Granlund in a trade if it comes to that? Is that even something to worry about?
No, I mean, no, I don't think it is. Not now. Mary O'Neill's safe.
From Kenny Flores, I haven't listened to the last few podcasts, so sorry this is a frequent question, but is there any update on the Granny Nino Foligno contract talks? Are they close?
I wrote a story. It's on StarTribune.com. They're not close.
RTFB?
Yep, they're not close. And Foligno, right now, they can barely get his agents on the phone because they have so many ARB cases as it is. So they've been inundated with that. Then they'll get back and forth there. But read StarTribune.com. It's on there now.
Mary O'Neill's watching, I believe, from Oregon. Tony Hoagland, you're our sponsor for our football program.
By the way, what's that story? You texted me like Tony's upset that you muted him on.
Tony took Tim Yoder, the star of the Viking Update podcast on our network. Tim, Tony, and I went and played golf at the TPC where Tony's a member, and we're having dinner afterward. And he said, "God, why did Russo mute me?" And I said, "I don't know. I'll ask."
No, first of all, if I muted him, he wouldn't know I muted him. But then I looked, and I definitely didn't mute him.
Well, answer his questions once in a while.
Maybe I just haven't seen his
He's your
questions.
State Farm agent. You should
he's
deal
got
with
the
him.
bat phone. He should just text me if he's got a question.
Tony, text Michael so he can blow you off like he blows everybody else off.
Yeah.
I have a question from Vicky, and her arms are folded.
It's Vicky's
arms
birthday.
are folded.
Yeah.
Warning.
Hey, Jim.
Yes.
You know how they say you really get to know people when you travel with them?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, Vicky?
I'll leave it at that.
I couldn't hear a word.
She said, do you know how people say you really get to know people when you travel?
Yeah, I know.
Then she pointed at you, and I don't think it was a good point.
Yeah. No, hey. It was an eclectic group. I'm an eclectic human being.
Eclectic. That's such a euphemism.
Yep.
Yeah. The Blue Ox. I think that's cool. That he's. How much do you think he'll be involved with that?
Tell us about the Blue Rocks.
How much would Bruce be? I think very little. I think he'll be there to go. Like, you said that he's not going to let it affect his team. His wife is going to be very day to day. She's, she runs her own. She's knows money and things like that. So I think she is going to be much more day to day than he is. But I think it's pretty much he's going to be a super fan and help fund it and things like that. It's a pay-to-play league, so to be an owner, these kids pay, and they get billeted, but they are, it's not like he's running an NHL team where he's got to sit there and there's going to be cash calls from the right. And guys are going to come to him and want raises and things like that. I think Jay Witta is going to be the day-to-day guy that runs the team. He's the GM of the team. So I don't think it'll be a big thing. So,
thanks to Crown Bank, crown-bank.com. Locations right near here, downtown Minneapolis, also in Edina over there by Twill in the Edina Galleria. If you need it, especially for business banking, check out Crown Bank, a Minnesota company. Crown-bank.com.
Your banking relationship should match your lifestyle. And if your lifestyle is to live well, You want Crown Bank. You want a bank and a banker who will give you what you want and what you need without a hassle. Crown Bank is responsive. From ordering checks to making you a loan, they build a relationship with you that will help you get what you want so that you can live well. Crown Bank. It's a lifestyle choice and the place to do business. Member FDIC.
You know one person I neglected to mention?
Who?
So InfoSeeker. InfoSeeker was one of the, he and his lovely wife were on this trip. And InfoSeeker has been offended that in the past I have said on the podcast that the most negative Twitter follower I have is going on this trip. And I will say, after being around him, great guy, and married to an amazing woman. Clearly, there's a lot more to InfoSeeker than meets the eyes. I will say that one of the first nights, we were out at a pub, about 9 of us, and I pulled out the Twitter, and I started reading his tweets to me out loud, and it did show that he can be a little negative. Everybody's a Smurf on the Wild. But absolutely awesome guy. He and his wife spent 3 days later in Dublin than we did. They went to the U2 concert. He's one of those people that if you follow him on Twitter, he'll block you, but somehow Vicky managed to let him allow her to follow him and has so far not been blocked. So,
wow.
He's not in it for the followers like you and I. He's in it to, it was a fun trip. So Claudine and Andy's son is not studying abroad. He's actually got an internship in Dublin, so he joined us for part of the trip.
Oh, wow. That's
great
fantastic.
guy. I've already inundated myself on the family where I'm going over there to play wiffle ball with them in a week to get prepared for my big Wiffle Wars tournament.
Michael, let me just warn you, Michael knows how to get free meals out of people.
Yeah.
Anthony
LaPanta, I'll buy the meals, but I need
Anthony
them to make
LaPanta
sure.
has fed him like a
That is
stray
true.
puppy
I have
for years.
absolutely, there are a couple. But I will say that I asked his son, who's goes to Gustavus, I said, do you guys have a wiffle ball bat? And he's like, yes. Do you have a wiffle ball? Yes. I'm like, well, then I'm coming over. Because I need to hit the batting cages to keep myself from being embarrassed. So Paul Fletcher and Mark Parrish have put together this Wiffle Wars, and they've set up the teams where I am absolutely going up against guys like Mark Parrish, Matt Cook, and Zach Parisi, guys that I have covered in the past, that are in this 100% to make me look like a fool. And I know, first of all, I do that.
You really don't need a wiffle bat for that, though.
Exactly. I don't. So, and I'm on Team Morneau, which is already intimidating enough. So,
I will say Justin's one of the nicest people I've ever covered. So you're in good hands.
Well, he
there.
hasn't seen me try to hit a wiffle ball yet.
That's true.
So, I'm not.
I will say this. It's a little painful to hear about all the stories about Ireland because I knew I was very Irish.
Yeah.
My sister decided to do one of those genealogical things. She I think she took blood from me or something, sent it in. And she found out that we are both about 93% Irish, and the average resident of Dublin is about 74% Irish. We are incredibly Irish, and I've never been to Ireland. There's a Souhan's garage near Dublin, and I've never been to Ireland.
That's kind of what they said on these tours, is that you're either, there's more Irish people living in the States now than pretty much there. It's just an awesome place. It's gorgeous. I mean, you go there, we went to the Great Giant Causeway, and we went on a hike there, and you're out looking at the North Atlantic, and you realize, again, how amazing this world is. Saw Belfast, which was awesome. Andy and I saw the most unique bathroom ever in a pub that was just disgusting.
I don't want to hear about that. Thank you.
It was horrible.
John, interrupt quickly.
Yeah. You go to Giant's Causeway and you're taking in the atmosphere, and it's 88 degrees, and you're getting a sunburn in Ireland, and you look over and there's Russo wearing slacks.
That is something. Somebody asked me if I'm going to play wiffle ball.
Russo Slacks is so happy right now.
Yeah. You know what?
That was John Hedges of Fixology Repair, by the way. Fixologyrepair.com.
The best part of going to Europe is getting away from Russo Slacks. So, just saying.
There you go, Mark. You're famous. From Jim Eisenreich on Facebook Live, I've only been to one live show at Hell's Kitchen. This first show I've watched from home. Thank you for watching, Jim. From Kyle, again, how long do you think it will be before we see Koivu or Stahl fall into the bottom 6?
Well, I mean, what's the bottom 6?
His point is he's ready for a kid to step up, Eriksson or Kunin, somebody like that.
They're not going to step up this season to that role, I don't think. So.
And by the way, Kyler's last name, Vasfar. My bad, I always screw it up. From John Nemo, congrats on all success. I don't know what he's talking about. Who started the Beauty League, and how do they pick players for it? I see a mix of NHL, college, and local prospects.
Octagon's the kind of the player agency that runs it, but it's Ben Hankinson and Chris McAlpine and John Volan. They're the three, and Keith Ballard. They're the three locally based Octagon agents here in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Octagon has a bunch of agents: Alan Walsh, Mike Liute. I believe there are others as well, but Octagon is basically based here, and so they started it. But if you look at the group of players that are in it, there's a lot of guys that their agents aren't Ben Hankinson. So it's basically the locally based guys that want to play it. And I think they all look at it as good way to raise money for charity, but also to stay in shape, get skating, and get ready for the season. And it's for a good cause. It's every Wednesday night in August. It's every Monday and Wednesday night. So and the first 2 Wednesdays in August, we're not doing live shows here.
Right.
So come on down. I'm sure I'll be there. I'm going to do a feature on them actually next month. So
good. All right. From Derek G. Johnson, longtime listener. Great article, Michael. Wonderful comps for the boys, RTFB. You've seen U2 twice this summer. Is that true? And your thoughts if you have?
No, I saw U2 once in Pittsburgh during the Stanley Cup Final. Awesome. The visuals are great. The only disappointment that I had with it is they played Joshua Tree in order, which is no problem. But if you're maybe diehard U2 fans that are just in love with that album love the second side, I do not. Like, all their hits are on side A on that album. So all of a sudden you realize that they're playing that in order, and then all of a sudden you kind of, in my eyes, the second half of the concert was kind of boring. So maybe you don't agree.
You heard it here first. Yeah. Michael Russo.
So I was more excited when I saw them in Pittsburgh. The Lumineers opened, and they were amazing. Dublin, I didn't see them, but they were in Dublin the day after we left, but I didn't see it there.
From Barbara Simon Tabin, can we take the boys on the last Monday in August? I don't know what that means.
No, because it ends August 23rd. My nephews are coming to town.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, no, August 23rd it ends, and my mom and my nephews and my brother and my sister-in-law are coming August 26th. And my mom's dog, which...
I've met your mom's dog. Your mom's dog has been in my apartment.
I made my mother today. Pay for a flight for the dog. So, just dawned on me that probably cost her a little bit of an arm and a leg. I probably should help pay for that, but whatever.
Yeah, you sound really guilty. From Tony Hoagland, our friend, I will volunteer my baseball experience to help Michael if he would like it. Yes. Tony played college baseball.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I used to be an incredibly good wiffle ball player growing up. I was a good softball player.
Michael, we're like in public here. When you say stuff, people actually listen and think you're
great. They're taking you seriously. I was a good softball player, and wiffle ball. That was my thing growing up. But I haven't done anything athletic in about 20 years.
So
we went to River Dance. It was good.
That's all you got?
Yeah. No, our driver Pete, right? Pete. He's the guy that was the one that, like, when I said, I need you to show me where the Starbucks was in Belfast, he turns to me, spare me. I'll show you a proper coffee shop. I'm like, calm down. But then he showed me a proper coffee shop, Costa, and it was orgasmic, for lack of a better term. So Pete, on the thing, he starts telling us that...
that didn't look right coming out of your mouth. It really didn't.
Riverdance was playing in Dublin. It plays in Dublin for like 6 weeks during the summer, and Riverdance is something that I saw years ago in Vegas, believe it or not, New York, and I'm like, it was very entertaining, and I'm like, I said to the people that were around me, I think Andy and his wife and Vicky and Clyde, I'm like, do you guys want to go? And I'm like, let's see if we. So I looked online, and you can get tickets. So I went up to the front and I asked Michael Kenny, who was our tour director, who's phenomenal. He's the one that owns Defined Destinations. And, this was my first time to go to Europe on a tour. And it's so stress-free when somebody else is doing things. Like, when I go to Europe, I try to cram as many. Like my last time to Europe, I did Amsterdam, Berlin, Prague, Dusseldorf, Munich, Vienna, Lucerne, Zurich, Dublin, all on one trip, and it's like stressful when you're like you don't even have a chance to enjoy it because you're always worried about getting to the next place. But when you go with a tour, it's amazing. Like I've been to Dublin 5 times. I learned more about Dublin this trip because we're on a tour. So anyway, so I went up to the front of the bus, and I said to Michael, I said, "Hey, a lot of us would like to go to Riverdance tonight. Is there a way that we could try to get tickets?" And then I asked everybody on the bus. Everybody wanted to go, and we stop at this rest stop. We go in and get coffee. We come back, and they've secured somehow 17, 18 tickets together at Riverdance. So it was pretty neat. So we, you know what? Also, I didn't mention that day is that I'm walking around Dublin, and I see a guy in a Nino Niederreiter jersey. What's the chances?
Was it Nino?
No, it wasn't Nino. I promise. I told Nino about that. He didn't believe me, but it was true.
I will say, my wife and I like going to Cabo. And there's this dive.
Cabo.
There's this dive joint. It's shrimp shack, something like that. And it really doesn't have 4 walls. It has some tarp and some plastic hanging up. And a pickup truck will pull up outside of this place, and 2 guys will like grab blue marlins and walk through, and grab like fresh shrimp and walk through. And it's an incredible place. And there are like 6 banners in the place, and one of them is a Minnesota Wild banner. It is amazing the reach that organization has.
Yeah. No, I would agree. Like I said, I'm on top of Guinness, and there's a guy wearing a Wild shirt. You know, like what's the chances?
Few more things on Facebook Live. Thanks for watching on Facebook Live. Barb, your mom says you were a great softball player by source.
I was a great softball player. I used to just crush the ball to left.
Alec Fisher asks, will the Star Tribune be at the State Fair this year? I'm sure we will.
That?
Will the Star Tribune be at the State Fair this year?
We're working it out now. I mean, Bruce is willing to do it. It's just a matter of finding the right date. Mm-hmm. And if it's not Bruce, maybe Chuck. And then actually, I'm going to be doing a second event at the Star Tribune with, I think, Amelia Reyno and a couple others about travel tips from pro beat writers and things like that. You should get on that.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
Don't you want Jim Souhan to be part of that?
Nobody wants to see that.
And then, so we'll do that, and then I'll have a bunch of K-Fan appearances as well.
Okay. Let's talk Billy Joel. I mean, let's face it, this is a light time in the hockey schedule. There's not a lot of news happening. You're a Long Island guy.
Yeah.
Billy Joel is the biggest Long Island act ever, probably. And we're going to go see him on Friday.
Alexa, I always think about Allentown.
He's not my favorite artist, but I feel like this will be the first time I've ever seen him, and my wife and I feel like you got to see him once.
I saw him once.
And by the way, the Allentown era of his music is my favorite.
Yeah. Back in the day, in like the early 90s, I used to travel around like concerts all over Florida. Saw Billy Joel and Elton John once. In fact, I have this recollection of my mother and my stepfather going to Billy Joel and Elton John once in New York City, and them dropping me off at my cousins to have them babysit while they went to this concert. I think they won the tickets on like Z100 or something. But I saw Billy Joel back then when he was touring, and he was phenomenal. I have heard that lately he might not be as good, so I'm kind of interested to see how he is being the headliner at a big baseball stadium.
Right.
I am more excited. I think I mentioned this on the last podcast. I got really I had an exciting time about a couple days before I went to Ireland and Scotland. I got to meet Gavin DeGraw and hang out with him for like an hour over at Butcher and the Boar, and I talked to him forever. So he's opening for Billy Joel, so I'm trying to go see him and get backstage passes and all that. Huge hockey fan, so I'm kind of more looking forward to the opening act.
Yep.
And then if I am downstairs backstage during the beginning of Billy Joel, that would suck, but it wouldn't suck that bad. So
Barb Abney will be up here next with Music from Hell with Chris Koza. I hope I'm getting the name right. I'm bad with names. I apologize if I messed it up. Barb's here on Wednesday nights after our shows, so please stick around and check them out. Give me one more hockey topic, Michael. What's something facing the Wild that we should talk about if we want to have a comprehensive show here today? Is there anything going on?
Not really. I mean, again, I talked to Chuck Fletcher for that story, and it's the same thing. They're in a holding pattern. Have to re-sign Niederreiter, Granlund, and Foligno before they can think about really re-signing somebody else. The Matt Cullen situation, I got the impression that he was waiting on the Wild, and and were kind of deciding on whether or not, they had the money to sign him and that he was prepping to play. I have not talked to him since he's been back. There's been kind of radio silence right now between Cullen and the Wild, which sometimes might mean that maybe Matt is having second thoughts and wants to retire, or maybe he's got another option out there. So we'll see. I mean, right now the Wild just cannot do anything in terms of signing somebody until they figure out exactly how much money Granlund, Niederreiter, and Foligno are going to cost. They're trying to re-sign them to any contract between 3 and 5 years, not anything further. A lot of these contracts have been all out of whack, but the going rate right now, it seems, for a player of their ilk is $5.3 million, and I think that is more than the Wild. I think if the Wild could get Granlund long-term at 5.3 right now, they do it. I think that's definitely more than they wanted to sign Niederreiter at, so we'll see. There's a chance if you go to arbitration and you give those guys 1 or 2 year deals, 2 years takes them to UFA, which isn't ideal, but if you give them 1 year deals, as Skyler pointed out 2 or 3 weeks ago when he was here. Now all of a sudden you got to re-sign Koivu, Zucker, Dumba, Niederreiter, Granlund all next summer. That'd be a freaking disaster. It would ruin the front. Like Shep Harder is the guy negotiating all these contracts. It would ruin his summer in terms of being able to do anything.
One more Facebook Live question. John William, in your opinion, years down the road, whose number will the Wild retire first? Good question.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they'll. I would think it would have to be Mikko of anybody. If they haven't retired Gaborik, and players have worn 10 since, and they haven't retired, Brian Ralston or anything like that, who scored 3 30-goal seasons here. So, the only one it could be is Mikko. He's the all-time leading scorer in this organization, point getter, assists, games, power play points, multi-points, blah, 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 blah. So if it's anybody, it would be Mikko. So.
All right. Hey, thank you to Hell's Kitchen, as always. Again, 9th and Nicolette. Great breakfast, great brunch. Mimosa and Bloody Mary bars, my favorite on the weekends. Thanks to Finlandia Vodka, Jack Daniels, and Surly Brewing for sponsoring the Facebook Live portion of the show. And thank you to our loyal sponsors, Twill in the Edina Galleria, Fixology Repair, 3rd Floor Mall of America up by Nordstrom's, and, of course, as always, Crown Bank. Any more final thoughts? You got anything else for me?
Nah.
Nah. Okay. He's Michael Russo. I'm Jim Souhan. This is the Minnesota Sports Podcast Network. You can always hear all the shows. We got about 6 of them running right now at mnspn.com. Upcoming schedule, Friday, myself, Michael, and Chip Scoggins here, 5 to 5:45. If you're coming down for Billy Joel, stop by here and visit with us. And then we're taking about a 2-week break, and we'll be back August 16th with myself and Michael right here, 6 o'clock. That's a Wednesday night, August 16th. Thanks again. This is the Minnesota...
A 2-week break live. We are doing a podcast.
We'll still be doing shows. You can still find the shows at mnspn.com or on our Twitter feeds, on our Facebook. Also, just started a Facebook page for the podcast network, MNSPN. You can check that out. Also, that'll be a good place for an archive of all of our shows. So once again, this is the Minnesota Sports Podcast Network. Thank you for coming down. Thanks for watching on Facebook Live. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you Friday. And give Michael a hand, please.
Pretty little city built on a hillside. Music in the bars and fire in the sky. We went to the beach and it was covered in ice. And I used to call it home. So much coming out, there's nothing going in. I know that you feel like you're never gonna win. Oh, but the world won't forgive a winner.
From the kids to Aunt Sue, keep your whole family connected on all their devices with crowd-pleasing gig-speed internet from Xfinity. Now that's simple, easy, awesome. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit today. Restrictions apply. Actual speeds vary and not guaranteed.
Excuse me, Captain. This is your wake-up call from the new TracFone Wireless.
What's that now?
What if you had to fly this plane while sitting back in the cabin?
I wouldn't have any control.
Well, that's what it's like going with some wireless companies, but TracFone Wireless gives you control. Get unlimited talk and text on America's best 4G LTE network starting at $20 a month, no contract. Plus, unlimited carryover data with active service.
That's cool, but how'd you get in my cockpit?
This is your wake-up call, people. The new TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.